Welcome to this week's meeting of the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. We focus our weekly meetings on innovation in making the world a better place. And this week we have a great presentation from our current president for the new Rotary year, Brett Sham. And I'm looking forward to hearing about his vision for this Rotary year 2021-2022. Brett, take it away.
Thanks, Nick, and thanks for all our members that have joined and all the guests as well. Let me just share my screen. Okay. So today I wanted to talk to you about what my vision is for the club and what we will achieve as the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley for this year. So the areas that I'll cover off will be the goal setting process, the actual goals for 2021 and 2022 across our different committees and avenues of service, and then what the plan will be for achieving these goals throughout the year. So I thought it would be good to start with what is our vision as the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. And so this was formed, and this comes from our strategic plan as a club, and I think most of our members should have seen the latest version, which Raquel sent out at the end of the Rotary year with her newsletter. And so this vision was established after we ran some visioning sessions with all our members a couple of years ago. And what we decided was that we want to be the most vibrant online service organisation of choice with dynamic, action-oriented members whose contributions improve lives in our communities and around the world. So I think for me, if I synthesize that, what does that personally mean to me? It means we have members from all around the world that are engaged and committed to service, both in their local communities and internationally. And I think, that's also very much truly what Rotary stands for as an organisation globally. And I think keeping that vision in mind as we talk through the goals is very important, because it does really lend a lot of the context and framing about why the goals are set the way they are and why they're important to our club in terms of achieving our vision. So in terms of goal setting, the process I've gone through as I've set the goals through the year has been to make sure that they do align with our strategic priorities and our members' needs. So as I said, we've gone through the visioning process. We've also done member surveys throughout the years, and we've come up with a lot of, the members have provided a lot of great feedback about what they would like the club to be doing, what we're doing well, but also the opportunities for us to improve. And so the goals are tailored to make sure we do listen to that feedback, and that we are focused on doing the things that are truly important to our members. Secondly, they're built upon the success and achievements that we've had, particularly in the last Rotary year. And so under past President Raquel's leadership, our club had phenomenal growth in terms of membership, in terms of giving to the Rotary Foundation. And so, we want to make sure we do build on that momentum and keep delivering success and growth as a club. And then thirdly, it's also around supporting the vision and the ambitions of RI President Shaker and DG Richard. So I think we shouldn't lose sight that, yes, we are a club, but we are also part of the district and the broader organisation that is Rotary International. And we do need to make sure that what we do as a club fits within that framework about what the organisation is trying to achieve globally and as a district. So if I first start on our strategic priorities and the goals related to these, again, these come from the strategic plan. The areas which the club's identified as the strategic priorities are meetings, service, and membership. And these have been particularly the areas that have been called out throughout the different engagement we've had with members throughout the years as what they truly value about our club. And so if I start with meetings, what our members really value are the dynamic and engaging programs that we have each week. And so they've noted that the online and asynchronous meetings that we have and the variety of presenters are really a key benefit of the club. And that these weekly meetings really are the main opportunity for all of us to come together as a club. And having those amazing speakers that we do really act as inspiration for us to then go out and do good in the world. And so in terms of the achievements in last year, we had meetings every week. So throughout all 52 weeks, even though we were in the middle of a global pandemic, and many clubs actually did stop meeting for quite a long time. I think that's obviously the benefit of being an E-Club, is that we already had the infrastructure to keep continuing, whilst a lot of other clubs had to come and learn to adapt and set up online meetings for their members to continue. And I know that a lot of clubs are now going back to either in-person or hybrid meetings, but I think for us, it's about reflecting that we actually helped a lot of clubs that reached out to members of our club for guidance about how do you successfully run online meetings. And I think that's a great achievement about how we've helped other Rotary clubs as well during this time. And our meetings are very successful. So our club members on average attended 70% of our weekly meetings. So that's excluding makeup meetings, but our actual weekly meetings they've come along to. And if you do include makeup meetings, we had a 75% attendance on average for our members, which is great. But there actually were 8 members that attended every single weekly meeting, and there was another member that had 100% attendance when you do also include makeup. So that's a phenomenal effort from those members. So I do thank you for your commitment to the club in doing so. And we also, as I said earlier, provide an avenue for Rotarians to remain engaged when their clubs didn't have meetings. So I think for our members and guests that have been attending our meetings for some time, you may recall on many of our meetings, particularly at the start of the pandemic, we had a lot of guests attending the recording sessions as well. And so to build on that success that we've had last year, what does that mean for the goals for the coming year? And so for me, I would like to maintain that strong membership attendance, so 75% or better. I think, notwithstanding we are coming out of the pandemic and there is a lot more face-to-face interaction now. So that does mean there probably will be some more makeups if our members are attending other clubs or traveling, etc. But I think overall as an attendance percentage, it'd be great to sustain that number there. And I think in terms of perfect attendance, so we had 9 members last year, but I think it's a great opportunity for us to increase perfect attendance to a quarter of our membership. So, getting to 25 would mean about 15 members. And I think that's not hard because, we already had 18 of our members that had attendance above 90%. So you're really encouraging those members to try to commit to coming to all the meetings, and for our members really to come to as many as you can as well. And I think one other thing I would like, especially as we hopefully move out of the pandemic, and the RI convention in Houston is planned to be face-to-face, is I'd love for us to have an in-person meeting at the RI convention for those members that are there, but also to then have the opportunity for members to also attend remotely as well. So I think that's a great opportunity to get our members from all over the world that do come to the convention to connect face-to-face, which many of us haven't had the opportunity to do in recent years. So in terms of then trying to achieve those goals, how will we do that? So I think it's about, again, having the right balance and the variety of speakers across a range of topics. So whether it be our club members, other Rotarians and guests. So, for our members and guests, if you're interested in speaking to the club or know someone that you think would be a great presenter, reach out to our programs committee to arrange that. And I think having that strong pipeline really does mean that we can then, focus our efforts on securing really great presenters each week. So I think for meetings, again, they're sort of the foundation of us coming together as a club. So, very important that we do work towards keeping that strong attendance there. And I move on to the next point around service. So, service is important because many of our members have noted before that they want to continue see our growth in our international service efforts, that they would like us to unify around themes for community service projects and participate locally with local clubs. And also because RI President Shaker's theme for this year is to serve to change lives. And if anyone's seen any of his presentations, particularly from the International Assembly, he's talked about the richness in his life that he has gained from serving his local community and internationally. And in terms of our club's achievements in service last year, we established our international project in Soda in partnership with the Rotary Club of Addis Ababa in Ethiopia and Holt International, which is an education-focused NGO. And our club raised $35,000 towards that, and with our global grant application being matched in almost record time and being funded $1 for dollar before the cutoff, that's a total of $70,000 going towards that project, and that will cover a science laboratory, library materials and resources for female students and reproductive health training and as well as training for the teachers and school management. So the project is a basic education and literacy project which is very well aligned to our club areas of interest around education, innovation, and technology. And we also launched our mini grants program last year, and which the aim of that is to enable our members to undertake community service and projects in their local areas and to drive collaboration with other club members. And we funded 6 projects last year. So in terms of then what do I hope to achieve for our club this year, then it's about implementing the funds from that global grant from October once the rainy season in Ethiopia ends. And the project will continue to run for 3 years. So, making sure, we are making sure it's delivering the benefits as set out in the grant and set out as in the project plan during that time. And to also commence fundraising for stage 2 of the project. So that's an $80,000 target. And then to also prepare the global grant application for that shortly thereafter once we do raise the funds. And I think especially given the growth of the number of members we've had in different parts of the world recently, I'd also like to expand the mini grants program to try to get 8 grants up and running. So I think it's a great opportunity for our new members to feel engaged and have an opportunity to apply for a grant for a project that is important to them. And so it's really also about refining the way that program works and the application process there. So, the call and the ask is especially for our new members as well as our existing members. Think about, what projects do you think, you would like to do and submit an application. We would love to work with you to make that a reality. And then the last of our strategic priorities is around membership. And so, membership is very important to our club because the club exists because of its members. And we're a great group of international people who are like-minded in service thinking. But the challenge we do have in that international sense is that because of geographic and time zone barriers, and also sometimes not having that opportunity to connect face-to-face, is that sometimes initiatives do not progress as quickly as we would like. And I think, opportunities to address that are by having all of our members really step up and volunteer to take on more activities within the club. And also from a social element. So, stepping up our online socials and opportunities to connect in person as well. In the last year, we had great membership growth. So we actually had the highest growth in the district with 11 members. So we started at 48 members and we finished the year with 59 members. And that exceeded our goal of having 54 members at the end of the year. And I think the challenge to that is that, membership is important and the number of members, but at the same time, it's only really an input. And for us to have an impact in terms of our service, it really relies on our members being engaged and being committed and participating. So for me, it's about converting that the member number to almost an output around our engagement and our projects and our impact that we have the ability to do. And so from that engagement point of view, last year we had a target of 25 members being engaged in service participation, and we hit that target. But for me, it's about actually how do we grow that and I understand that there are some people that can't always be engaged in service and such, but I think even if we can grow that to 40 members, to being 2/3 of sort of the 60 members, it is a reasonable target. And to that end, I would also like to try to track the engagement hours that our members have, not just for service, which I know we do now, but we actually have a lot of members in our club that do a lot of work outside of our club service projects. But they do a lot at a district level, but also at RI level. So I think it's important that we do capture a lot of that information as well to show the impact that our members are having as Rotarians, not just in our club, but also to the Rotary organisation as a whole. So moving on from our strategic priorities around meetings, service and membership, we obviously do a lot of work in other areas as well, including the Rotary Foundation, club service, youth service and public image. And so if I first start on the Rotary Foundation, the foundation giving is essential to support the good work that Rotary does. And unfortunately, because of the global situation, the annual fund has actually been struggling to fund all the grant application that it receives. And so last year actually had to cut off applications early, and it actually reduced the matching that it applied to some of these global grant applications. So as I noted with our soda project grant, we were lucky that we did get that 1-for-1 match. So I think by the end of the year, it had moved to, I think, an 80 cents in the dollar match. And also, it's important that we do give to the foundation, because the way that foundation funding works, particularly for district designated funds, is that what we receive each year is proportionate to what we donate in some of the preceding years as well. So the more we give, the more funds we do have access to, and that come back to our clubs for us to invest in our projects. And so last year was an absolutely phenomenal year in terms of our club and the Rotary Foundation. And so we had a goal of $5,000 in terms of giving to the annual fund. And our members actually gave close to $30,000 to that. So, that's 6 times of what our target had been. And that was phenomenal growth from what we had been experiencing in other years as well. And there's 2 funds within sort of the Rotary Foundation. There's the annual fund, which funds district designated funds, and the World Fund for global grants. But there's also Polio Plus, and I think many Rotarians are well aware of the work that Rotary's been doing to support the eradication of polio. And we had a goal of $1,500 for our members to contribute to Polio Plus, and we finished the year with $4,000. So again, a great effort from all our members, and I'd like to commend all our members for their support for the foundation there. And we had 18 members that met the requirements for every Rotarian every year, which means that each year they do make a contribution to the Rotary Foundation. And 6 of those members are actually Paul Harris Society eligible, which means they gave over $1,000 in the year to the foundation. So again, thank you to those members for the support for the foundation they give. And so I think, as a club, we need to, in terms of goals, we need to continue encouraging our members to give to the foundation and support the foundation, particularly, as I was saying, focusing on the annual fund, so that it does come back to our club in DDF, that we can then invest in our projects in the future. I would love to see our participation in every Rotarian every year grow to 30, so, half our members. And I think, an annual fund target of $15,000. I know that's a big step up from our target this year, but across our district, the annual fund giving per capita, the average is about $230 or so. And so I think, $15,000 is if you look at having 60 members and everyone giving close to that per capita average, then I think we'll be close to, or if not exceeding, that target. And I think, one thing that's important to remember is that we don't have meal fees, and we have quite low membership fees as well. And so if you compare that to other Rotarians where they do have meal fees and higher membership fees, by us not having that, I think that does hopefully enable our members to have the opportunity to give more to the foundation. Then moving to club service. And so, club service is very important around the administration and the governance and transparency of the club, so that our members do know how we're operating. And again, through the surveys, members have noted that they'd like to feel engaged and they have a voice in what happens in our club, and that the leadership is active and responsive to them. And particularly because we've had such large membership growth over the last year, for me, it's very important that we do listen to those members, that they do get the information they need to understand how our club is operating. And the achievements we had last year, I think, in that regard were the new bylaws and the new club policies. So I think a big thanks especially to Phil Dean, who chaired the bylaws committee and the policies committee, because I know that they were very large pieces of work to get through, and that Phil does have a lot of Rotary commitments at a district level already. So he did some great work there, and the club is very thankful for that. And so a lot of the goals around those bylaws and the changes we've made are around enhancing the continuity of our plans and clubs and committees. And so for me, it's about really making sure we do continue to drive that forward. And I think in terms of the reporting, so that their members feel engaged and they do understand how things are going. It's about having concise and clear KPI and outcomes-based reporting and tracking your progress throughout the year against the targets and the goals that we've been talking through. And I think what that gives us the opportunity is to understand where we're doing really well as a club, but also, you know, where there might be opportunities for us to improve our performance, and then seek out members that want to get involved to help drive those areas and to move them forward. And again, you know, club surveys, so that members have the opportunity to feel like they're heard. But I think what I'd like to say is that, you know, surveys aren't the only way for members to express their thoughts and views. You know, you can always send myself a message, reach out to the rest of the board or the committee chairs as well, because, you know, we always want to hear the members that our ideas have. And I think, you know, it's really key to move those ideas forward, and then to work out how do we actually either deliver them as a project as a club, or work with the respective committees as well. And I think, like I was saying, it's about making sure that our committees are appropriately resourced, so that we do work towards achieving our goals through this year if we are having challenges in areas. In terms of youth service, you know, our club's historically been very heavily involved in a lot of youth-focused programs, and I think particularly given our focus on education as well, and that many of our club members have come from Rotary youth programs. You know, last year, we sent 4 participants to Ryla, and we chartered a new Rotary club. So this year, I think it's a great opportunity in terms of our goals for us to continue supporting the new Rotary club, as well as our Interact club, you know, and collaborating with them on sort of 2 projects or events each, and continuing to send students to Ryla. Because that's, you know, these are people that are great leaders in their community, that are serving not only now, but also, you know, well into the future, and hopefully they will be the Rotarians of tomorrow, and possibly Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley Rotarians of tomorrow as well. And in terms of public image, so there's a very, you know, there's a cycle between public image, engagement, recruitment of members, and as well as our projects and the impact that we have there. You know, public image is about, it's the way that we let people know about the great work that our club does. And also, I think, helping educate them about our flexible membership structure, particularly for those people that are very interested in Rotary, but maybe some of the barriers to them joining are the models of a traditional Terra Rotary club. And, you know, I think the more we can promote our club and our projects, then it's a great opportunity for us to grow our members, but also with our projects, so to find volunteers, or to help people with funding and supporting our projects as well. Because, you know, we're having some great impact, and it's important that we do let people know about that. You know, in the last year, we redesigned the website and put it on a new platform. We launched the quarterly newsletter, and we also increased our Instagram presence. So I think we're getting our message out there, and so the goal for this year is to really continue that. So again, to have a newsletter each quarter, but also to increase our connection with a mailing list for, you know, friends of the club, to promote our activities and events. And I like to see sort of for us to get 100 addresses signed up to that mailing list, for people that would like to stay in touch with us and hear about what we're doing. And I think, you know, we can do that by putting the sign up page on our website as well, and getting our committees and our members to produce content for the newsletters for things that they've been involved with. So in terms of bringing these goals to life and how do we achieve them, you know, there's a role for all our club members to play. And the club only works when all of our members are involved and participate. So, you know, take an active role in the club. You know, please ensure that you are on at least one committee and are working towards many of the tasks that those committees do. And participate in our projects, whether that's fundraising or volunteering, or, as I mentioned earlier, you know, submitting a mini grant application for something that you're passionate and believe in. You know, share your Rotary story. You know, tell people about the impact that you have had in the world, and also the impact that Rotary has had on you, the opportunities that it's given you. You know, think about giving someone the gift of membership. You know, invite them to join our club. Again, that's a big goal for RI President Shaker this year, for every member to introduce someone else to Rotary. And, or, you know, doing so also just encourage interesting and engaging speakers to present to our club as well, to inspire our members and to also, let them know about these different opportunities to serve in the world. And, donate to the Rotary Foundation. Any amount will have an impact. Like as I mentioned, I'd love for us to increase our every Rotarian every year percentages, and really focus on donating to the annual fund, so that we do get the funds back to support our projects in the future. And I think lastly, sort of, serve to change lives. I think that's a really impactful statement that our President Shaker has picked as his theme for this year, because I know that's why many Rotarians are involved in Rotary, and some of the best experiences that Rotarians have had come from the service that they have, done for their local communities and overseas. So sort of with that's the goals for the year. And I think, how all our members can get involved. Might stop the presentation there and open up for questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Brett. I really appreciate it. And before we get into questions, I just want to do a quick round of introductions for those members that are on the meeting with us today. We've got from California, we've got representing Armand, Cal, Shags, and Afra. And then in India, we've got Vandana, and then Jens in Germany. And I know our first question, Shags, and our first question, it comes from Cal.
Great. Brett, thank you very much for all of the thought and process you've put into this. I was particularly interested to hear about engagement, and I'm curious to know if you've thought about ways that we can kind of report out on engagement on maybe even on a weekly basis, so that the club has a feeling for the goals on a real-time basis and what progress we're making against those. For example, if we have a goal, and I don't know if we do, on volunteer hours collectively, do we have a goal, and how are we doing against that goal? Just be interested to hear any comments you have on that, and I'll take the answer offline. Thanks.
Thanks, Cal. I think just quickly to that, we do have the form on our weekly meeting page and on our website for all the members to capture their service hours. I think I'd like to expand that to not just being service, but also general volunteering commitment to Rotary as well. Maybe it's about how do we communicate and publish that more impactfully, so whether it's a infographic or something that's more visual so people can look at that performance. And I think what we do at the moment is talk about what the performance has been, but maybe it's about how to improve that, to show how's it tracking against our ambitions and our targets there.
Awesome. No, I love that. Getting an infographic out there would be great. Cal, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah. I just had one quick thing, and I think it's particularly notable in Rotary clubs that they are good about recognition, and I've heard people say, all you have to do is move the coffee cups from one side of the table to the other and you get an award. And that may be true, but I think it's maybe better to reward people too much and recognize people too much than not enough. And I just thought, with regard to community service, that maybe there's some stories in there rather than just the raw numbers, that maybe we can pull out some quick vignettes of activities that individual volunteers have engaged in that could help inspire other people and help show the kinds of progress we're making.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Cal. I think, we can look to make sure we do publish that and track that. And again, whether it's in the newsletter that goes out or somewhere on our website, we can talk about the hours and then get members that have been volunteering to send in some photos and a quick write-up as well of the service they have been doing.
Yep. I love that idea, Cal, and thank you for the suggestion, because it's good to make the call out. I know that Vandana has our next question.
Yes. My question is, I have not been a very active member of this Rotary Club. I just pay my membership and I'm there. But over the last 2 years, I have not even met each and every member of the club. So my question is that if one has to do charity, one can do in any which way. Why one has to join a Rotary? And for people like me who are not focused on, running a NGO or doing much other than donating, if one grows professionally and in business, I don't mind donating to the foundation. But the issue is that my whole thing, maybe other Rotarians don't have this need, is to join a Rotary for fellowship and networking, because that is the reason how this Rotary had started initially. But I think somehow it has lost its way. So I would like to understand that, has the founding principle of Rotary itself changed, or my expectation is different?
No, I think we're still very committed and active in terms of our members getting that fellowship and that networking. One of our standout programs that has been getting amazing feedback since it's been introduced out the years has been Coffee with a Rotarian. I think that gives the opportunity for our members to connect with each other, despite being all over the world, to get to know each other, understand their common interests, their passions, and to do that. And I think part of that opportunity there, and even with our mini grants, is to then say, well, we've got members that do have that common interest together, through that networking, do a mini grant together, do a project together, and have that opportunity to come together over that. We've also got our online socials as well. And as I noted, one of the things now that the RI convention will be in person again in the next year will be to try to get an in-person meeting happening as well, which our club has done in many of the previous RI conventions as well. I think we just need to be recognised that being an e-club does have challenges in terms of face-to-face interaction that you're not going to get if you're in a terror club. You're not going to the club meeting every week where you'll see every face and be able to say hi to everyone. That is one of the challenges there. But I think we just need to use the technology that we do have to facilitate that connection. And I think Coffee with a Rotarian is a great way to do so. And whether it's via Slack or email or video meetings such as Zoom as we're doing now, there are plenty of avenues for club members to connect and network with each other.
Yep. And
sorry, I just have a suggestion that instead of Coffee with a Rotarian, which is 1-to-1, maybe the club can, have a once in 15 days or, once in a month kind of a hangout for whoever is available in the club, or even within 2-3 club. Some group members can just hang around with, wherever they are sitting. One doesn't have to be, now technology has made it possible.
No,
I think,
yeah, go ahead, Brett.
So I'll just say, I think we have been doing that through our online socials. So, the membership committee and the online socials team have been organising a lot of those, especially last year during the pandemic. I know the frequency increased. I think it might have even been to weekly at a time, or fortnightly. And that we even having the online socials with our sister e-club from Hawaii. So there are plenty of those big group opportunities to connect that do exist. I think it's about we can definitely do more of those. And I don't know, Van Down, if that's something you want to get involved with, if you think that's a great opportunity to step up and really take the lead on.
See, my problem is unique, because I'm very clear that if I'm not putting a penny into any social project, then I need not, invite other members to come forward and collaborate with me. So that's aside. But there could be debates on certain issues which are international issues, and other things, forums where members collect, and then they have a discourse on certain topics, and then they listen. Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
No,
great.
and I think, Brett, to your point, it is about this. To me, Vandana, leads to, and then I'll wrap it up because I know we're running out of time. But for me, it is about how do we engage, and we want to make sure that our individual members can engage as a group. They can do that via Slack and via email, but it is always a constant challenge. And what we ask is, if anybody is interested and passionate, that they reach out to Brett or myself or Alexandra as the chair of the membership committee, which has the online socials. What we always want is more people to be engaged and active in facilitating those, because if there's a particular topic that you'd like to see our club come together and discuss, as an example that Vandana raised, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see more opportunities, because I think we'd find that there's a lot of people that would jump on that. Now, with that, I want to remind everybody that thank you today for attending our weekly program, and that if you'll scroll down to the bottom, you'll find that there is a place to mark your attendance. If you're a member of our club, please remember to do so. As Brett noted in the statistics, we do monitor that, and we make sure that everybody is engaged. If you're a visiting Rotarian, if you put your email in, you'll get an email receipt back that you can use to provide to your secretary for a makeup. And otherwise, we actually just welcome all comments, and we have a discussion in the discuss section below that as well. Please leave a comment, and we love to engage there as well. And thank you again. And Brett, I'll hand it back to you for your last word.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks to our members that have joined us today. And I just want to thank all our members again for their commitment to the club and for being involved. And I look forward to working with you over the coming year. Thanks.